was in front of a master, and I'd asked a question, and I think it was something that I was on the right track. But what was this? Oh, what was the second one? I should have come prepared. But the reason I brought this up was this woman in the dream said that I was awakening in front of the master, in front of all these other people, and I sort of felt my personal belief in the dream was okay, maybe so, yeah, this woman said, look at his face, and I was looking for an answer or to say in front of them, and I said something along the lines, okay, yeah, my face is reflecting Sami, which is an old Quechua word for nectar, or almost likening to prana and chi, or just then yes, okay, maybe I am sort of reflecting.
Okay, so you want to do, now that you remembered it, do you want to record?
I'm recording now, yeah, but it's not bumbling about. But I brought this up to...
Yeah, well, there's the difference right there.
Yeah.
You were, in the dream, you were reflecting back to yourself, maybe I am waking up. But her focus was on your face. Right? And you identified with what she was saying. You identified with what she was seeing. So my face and the ego are the same thing. So you appropriated what she was seeing to the ego. The face, look at his face is glowing, becomes look at me, I'm glowing. So that's what the dream ego does. It thinks in terms of the subject-object split, and everything in the dream becomes appropriated by the ego. So when she says my face is glowing, oh, therefore I, the dream ego, am glowing. Maybe I, the dream ego, is waking up. But that's not what she's saying. And she points to your face. She's not pointing to the dream ego. She's not to the personal I. She's pointing to something else. Because try and make your face glow with the nectar of heaven out of the ego. See what happens. What you get is a performance, right? Yeah. So that's a great example of how we have to learn dream language. She, being probably an anima figure, her focus fundamentally is on the self, on the greater being that we are. And so from that angle you could say she was saying the greater being within is waking up in this guy. And the ego can immediately appropriate it and say, oh, I'm waking up, I'll go and tell everybody, and miss the boat completely. Because if the greater being is waking up, the ego has to assume a very, very different role. Very humble, very small, and not know what the hell's going on next. Because if the greater being is waking up, it's not going to go the way the ego wants anymore. And hence your initiation begins. But you have to get the right way to say it. Otherwise the initiation effect gets lost. And so if you come out of that dream thinking, oh, that must mean I'm waking up the ego, you'll waste decades of work. It's a false trail. But if you can stand the logic that as being the anima, she's addressing goings on in the self, which is out of your consciousness. She's announcing to you that the greater Sam, the greater being, is waking up. She can see it in your face. And that's not directed at the ego. She's not saying you, the little ego, is waking up. I mean, you are awake, you see things, but the wakefulness of the ordinary ego is very limited. It helps us get by, to know how to turn the handle of a door and stuff like that. But because she's the anima, her directedness is towards the self. And that's the dream logic. basically not you, but the greater you is waking up. And at the same time, it is you, of course, because the dream, all of the dream is you. So that's a weird logic, but it's dialectical, and one can get used to it after time and avoid those traps of thinking only from the dream ego's perspective. Oh, she must mean me. No, she must not. That's where you have to get, this is me, but not me, over there, the big one. And so then the initiatory effect can take place. You realize something's waking up in you, that you don't know what it's going to do next, you don't know what's going to happen, where you're going to go, what its authority is going to be, how it's going to turn your life, and you start to enter a life that's initiatory. You enter a world that is full of uncertainty and gifts and synchronicities and unpredictability. Then you're in the contemporary world in a fresh way.
Well, I'm often come up with the question, although I'm slowly getting used to it. But okay, that's interesting. That resonates. What do I do with that in relation to dreams?
That's right.
Which is, I mean, yeah. I want to ask you the question: What do we do with the dreams? It can just sort of, sometimes it does just feel like subtly, or
if you get the dream logic, that question drops away. What's
yeah.
to do with it? Mostly we don't get the dream logic because we're not trained to, so it just becomes an interesting dream. Then nothing changes. Then you can do whatever you like with it. Go to a workshop, print it, whatever you want. But for a dream to be initiatory, it has to have, through its logic, through its meaning, affect you in a way that you can't, like my dream with the suffering figure on it. I couldn't go on the same. So one can dismiss a dream like that, but I think if you have somebody else who can tell you the dream logic and sort of kick it off the centrality, kick the dream ego off center place, it is an awesome thing to hear. That something bigger within me, still me, but bigger, is waking up. That's like the eye of Brahma waking up. You know how Brahma shuts his eyes and we go into oblivion for 144,000 years, and then he opens his eye. Oh no, then we do our daily things. But when he opens his eye, it all disappears. That would deliver a shock if one got it that way. Think waking up of my greater being is like an eye opening, and suddenly I'm no longer the subject looking at the objects in my dreams or anything else. I'm now an object, and the subject is addressing me. The greater one is addressing me. So we can't use theological terms anymore, but psychologically we sure can say there's something greater in me waking up and now is addressing me. That is a life changer if one lets that in.